Yo, big up, Wagwan, Y where you deal with, where you depend, up top, blessings. You don't know, they are back again with another one. We have a rivals chat
Mm.
and the preview for Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Emirates. I don't know, but they are with my brethren, General Crew. Where you say to me, bro?
There, bro. Everything good?
Yeah, man. Things are going, can't really complain. You know them way there.
True.
But just to kick it off, just a little bit of a background. As an Arsenal fan, tell me how you feel about Arsenal's start to the season so far. You can start from the Community Shield win, because I know say Arsenal fans them I love that. And then you can go up to your previous result in the last match week, Champions League.
Alright, fair. Alright, so coming the Shield. I never expect to win that one. Although made have my signings in the game. Signings from a buy in the summer market. But although I know so De Bruyne never 100%, but how I see the game that gonna be expect to lose at least a 1-0, and I never expect we come back at the last minute and win on penalties. But to me, the Shield is cursed, because you see the previous winners before Liverpool and the other side, how they have come into the season, them don't win anything. So I never actually wanted to win it. Although it's a Shield, but at the end of the day, it's not a big trophy to celebrate over. But a win is a win. Um, Coming to the season now, I don't really like Wagwan. I feel like the coach I overthink. Him should have changed the tactics from last year, and selling Xhaka and not upgrading on him is a big mistake because Kai Havertz 65 million. The only way I can see he fit in Arsenal side if he plays centre forward. That's the only way. It cannot work in the midfield. That's not going to work out. And we can see he played like what 8 or 10 games so far. In Arsenal should have 1 goal. He's not coming for the ball. He's not doing anything in the midfield. So it's like we're playing one man short. So I think it's a bad start, but I'm still backing my team to win a major trophy this year. Previous results from I saw Saka went down, I know I would be in trouble because it's like the coach cannot do without him. He's trying to force him to play every game, and that's not possible on a youngster. You have to give him rest. You have to take him off at earlier in the game, like the previous Premier League game at Bournemouth. We're leading like 3-0 in 55 minutes, 60 minutes, and he waited on into the 75th thereabout to take him off when he got a kick, and he know that he was struggling before in previous games. Could have taken him off and preserved the legs, but no, he kept him on. And you have to wait till he get a kick to take him off of the field. And I don't like that. You have to be proactive. He's
Mm.
your best player, so you have to protect him. If you don't protect him, you're going to suffer. But I feel like he's going to find some way to play him Sunday. Some
Wow.
yeah.
So from my perspective, and I know that might not come with the most weight because I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't think I watch as much Arsenal matches this season as you would have, or most,
Yeah.
or the average Arsenal fan would have. So I don't really have the best judgment in terms of saying how Arsenal season has been. Obviously, I watch the Community Shield. Um, I didn't see the Nottingham Forest game. I didn't see the Fulham game, but I saw the Crystal Palace game, I saw the Everton game, and I saw obviously the first part of the PSV game. I lock it off when it go like two, when it go 3-0, I lock it off like all right, yeah. I don't even see the
Yeah,
board.
game over,
And
yeah.
more obviously watch the match against Lens as well, because I know it was between watching that and watching the United game, but because I know we have this game coming up on Sunday, I decided
Yeah.
what, I watch an Arsenal match and glad me watch it. Just saying. Um, but to be honest with you, in terms of the whole of Arsenal season so far, I haven't really been too impressed compared to last season.
Yeah,
I already knew from last season that what you were doing isn't a regular thing. It was kind of like a phenomenon. You don't typically start the season and after like 20 games, are 15 games, you only drop points in a like two, like one
yeah,
loss, one draw. That's not a typical start. And the Arsenal team who really should have finished fourth the season before, and then they actually went on to finish fifth.
yeah.
I didn't expect for you to have that great of a start at the beginning of the season. But as some Arsenal fans genuinely believed that you could have a similar start again this season and it would just go exactly the same. That's not realistic.
No, it's
But
not realistic.
I at least expected to see better football. I thought that game against Palace, you guys struggled and it made it way more difficult than it needed to be. I don't rate Jordan Ayew as a striker. I don't know why him giving us so much problems. And at the end of the day, we know no win the match 1-0, but before that penalty, in which your one goal was a penalty, before that you
Mhm.
had multiple opportunities to kill off the game and they never
Yeah.
get them. So that was like a ray of light to me. Like, you know what? You know that we might just have some luck. I would prefer not to play this early in the season, but we'll talk about our record against Arsenal soon enough. But
Hmm.
he touched on Kai Havertz. For me, he's been the biggest disappointment for my team so far, in my opinion. Every time I see him, it's like him have imposter syndrome, and it's like he doesn't know what to do, where he fits into the team. Like it seems like he's the least contributor. Put it that way.
Yeah,
So
he is.
I look at that and I'm thinking midfield where we are usually the strongest, usually, because we aren't in the strongest version of our midfield right now, but midfield
Mhm.
is usually the strongest point of our team, and with a liability like that in the midfield, I'm looking at that and I'm rubbing my hands like, yo, can't wait to play Arsenal, isn't me? But yeah, and then that last game against Lens, like you said, I think I don't even think it's a bit on any much of an unpopular opinion, but Arteta has not managed Saka properly. He has really not. Plays way too many games, plays way too many minutes in games. Like you just mentioned, he could have come off earlier. Some people were saying he were up 2-0 at halftime. He could have come off at halftime or after 3-0. But yeah. Um, but just to switch over into Manchester City's season, this is actually one of our best starts to a Premier League season. We have only gone 6 wins in a row 3 times, including this season. The first time was obviously way back. The first time under Pep was in first season, and this is the second time Pep is doing it. Wanted 7 in a row, but unfortunately we got outplayed at the Molineux Stadium versus Wolves. But I say again, you don't get every result every week. Regardless, I don't that doesn't dampen my overall view for the season. I just look at it as a one-off game, and we saw in previous games in the season, like against West Ham, for example, we went 1-0 down. In the Champions League against Red Star Belgrade, we went 1-0 down. What I noticed in both of those games is whatever Pep said during halftime or whatever the leadership group and the captains said at halftime definitely changed the mentality coming out in the second half, and we had a reaction and a bounce back and went on to win both of those games 3-1. Now, in this particular situation, we lost against Wolves. I'm expecting something similar where, we got that bounce back win against RB Leipzig yesterday.
Mhm.
Obviously, for those who are watching, you won't see this directly after we record it. This is presently being recorded on Thursday after the Champions League game on Wednesday, and you guys will probably get this on Friday. But yeah, we did get that bounce back win from our previous loss in the last fixture. And that, for me, this midweek is exactly what I wanted. Because after you guys won your game 4-0 and then we lost 2-1, I know that a lot of Arsenal fans would have been getting a lot of confidence from that. Rodri will obviously miss the game. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. But you know, I think what I was looking for in the midweek was an unfavorable result for Arsenal, a draw or a loss, and then us to bounce back with a win. So now the conversation is, slightly being tilted. People are looking at, what? We have a win in our last game. You have a loss in the last league game. You have a win. We have a loss. And then now the record against between Manchester City and Arsenal is more back in the conversation again. So I do think that right now, I mean, we were already going to the game as favorites, but I do think the possibility of an upset just slightly turned down a little bit again because of those scenarios. But overall, I'm still happy with how we started the season, and I do expect us to get more positive results than not throughout the rest of this month as well. But to move on, I would like to hear your thoughts about the last games we played against you guys last season. We spoke about the Community Shield. Um, or better yet, you spoke about the Community Shield. Let me just go into that really quickly. I thought we dominated the game. I really thought that we should have capitalized on more opportunities. We obviously didn't score until the second half, and for the amount of control we had in the first half, we really should have done something with that. I thought you guys defended really, really well and stayed in the game. You guys didn't really look scared. I just didn't think you guys brought the game to us until Trossard came on. Um, but it turned out how it did. We had our goal. We thought we were on the way for a win. I didn't want to leave it at 1-0. I wanted us to just go and get another one to kill off the game. But unfortunately, we had that slight deflection, and you guys capitalized in the penalty shootout. The moment it went to penalties, all the City fans' heads were kind of just dropping because we are terrible on penalties and shootouts. We don't have any keepers who really excel in that type of situation. But yeah, in regards to the last season's games, we played against you guys in the FA Cup 1-0. We played against you guys at the Emirates afterwards, and then you guys came to the Etihad. What do you think of those three fixtures, and how do you think those results will impact Sunday's game?
All right, those three fixtures. Let me start off the most recent. The 4-1 in April, right?
Yeah,
All right, I think that game the boys were scared, and the fact that they dropped three games from Anfield, West Ham, Southampton. Well, before the Southampton game, they had two love leads, and they made Liverpool and West Ham score two and draw the game. So, and then coming into the home game against Southampton, they let Southampton score in the first 30 seconds, and Southampton went up 3-1, and we have to find two late goals to come back. I think psychologically that was affecting the team, and knowing that Saliba was out, I think they mentally gave up. I don't think they have the mental fortitude to act in those big games. So losing Saliba, and then when I saw Georgina starting, I know that we would have been in trouble. And you guys were on an amazing run, and you guys are the best at going on those run in that back end of the season. I can bet any money that you guys are the best. So I think the guys were looking at that, and they were not focusing on their own ball game. So that mentally affected them. So once you are doing that against Manchester City, yeah, you're going into the game with a loss. So I knew that you guys were going to beat me. I knew that. So about the game now, it was just the Haaland and De Bruyne show. That's one of the best combination in football right now. So there's not much I can say about the game than just those two. And you guys defending well, you took control of the game from minute one. I think Arteta, I don't think he get it tactically right against Pep. I don't think he's trying to copy him or what, but every time he play Pep, he tries to switch it up, and then Pep just change it in mid game and beat him. That's always happening. So I don't know how he's going to fix it based on those three results, the 1-love, the 3-1, and the 4-1. I don't know how he's going to fix it. But
Mm.
mm, I don't know. But I feel what he should do. He has to find a way to start party in the midfield with Rice and Odegaard. That's his best midfield, and if he can do that, he have a chance. But other from that, if he do start party, I would advise Arsenal fans to turn on the TV. Honestly,
So you think Party is will be fit enough to start this game on Sunday?
that's the thing. He said he's fit. Already the come on in the Lens game, but I think he can play 50, 60 minutes. That would be good enough. I just want to see him start. I just want to see that midfield. If Havertz playing that midfield, Man City is gonna take full control over that. That's like men playing boys.
Mm. So what I will say about the results, and a lot of City fans that you talk to will echo this thought, but that FA Cup fixture is where that was a big turning point in the season, and that was a big mistake from Arteta
Yeah,
because
because he rests some of his starting play and like him as I don't care about this cup. I'm focusing on the league. Let me play the fringe play, and I felt like he should have went strong. That's where he went wrong.
so the thing is we had a bit of, we had a few injuries, I believe, at that point in time, but we also had a bit of squad mutiny where Pep was saying that some players aren't really playing up to their level because they're not really fully motivated as of right now, and they're not, playing at that full level of intensity. So he moved the squad around a little bit, and there was some youth players and some fringe players who were getting into the squad as our strongest lineup at that particular time. So against you guys in the FA Cup, I think that was at the time our strongest lineup, but it
Yeah,
wouldn't be our strongest lineup player personnel wise. And I thought that was the best opportunity for Arteta to lay his gauntlet down and say, you know what, we have a game against Manchester City at the Emirates coming up. We got a win over them, so psychologically, we're gonna have that edge going into the game.
yeah,
We for the last couple of years now, we've always been going up against Arsenal with that mental edge over you guys because we keep beating you. So every time we play you guys again, the first start is the last time we played, we beat you. And then we beat you
yeah.
again, and then the next time we play, it's the same thing, and it's just an ongoing cycle,
Over
right?
and over again. Yeah,
So for me, that was a perfect opportunity to not s- not say, all right. So this bigger fish to fry thing. The reason why it became what it was in terms of a meme against Arsenal fans was you guys were using it in the wrong context. Now people look at that statement as taboo. Nobody now wants a bigger fish to fry because like you're gonna set up yourself for failure. But
yeah,
I think that was the opportunity there that you guys could have really made it a very, very interesting prospect coming around to that Emirates game because people would try to say, oh, it's just a cup match, Arsenal won, but this is where it really counts now. It's a league game. But at the same time, it does matter that you guys have that mental edge, and then the confidence from the players will come into fact. The Arsenal players, of course, the confidence that you guys would gain from that FA Cup fixture would come into play in that Emirates game, and I don't think they were too far apart either. I think they
yeah,
were like 2 weeks between each other. But in that Emirates game, that I'm thinking about that a lot because it makes me wonder how Arteta is going to set up in this game on Sunday. Because in that game, you guys dominated the possession, um, dominated the chances. I'm not sure. I will have to probably look at the stats again, but I don't remember us having too many chances in terms of volume,
yeah.
but the chances that we did create, we definitely took them.
And it was mistakes for two of the goals,
Mm.
I think. Yeah, Tommy has to give away one to De Bruyne.
And then you know
And
what happens there. The heads start to
yeah,
drop like, oh no, we
yeah,
one mistake and it stuff kind of blow up. I thought that your penalty in that game was a bit fortunate. I'm not really sure what Ederson could have done in that position. He was clearly going in with intent to play the ball. Both of the players were going towards the ball. It was kind of like a 50-50. and you get the penalty, you score it. I'm not here to really cry about that. It is what it is, but I like the reaction from the team after that point as well. We were still firmly confident and in control, and knowing that there's a result for us here, and we went out and took it. And I think we were good value for our two goals after that point as well. In the last game, trust me, there is, you see, when it comes to the Etihad, and we need people to start put more respect on the Etihad, because when it's Anfield, everybody is like, oh, Anfield, I'm afraid for go on Anfield and all them things. That, well, people need to start afraid for come at the Etihad too, because
I
right
I
now,
feel
trust me, bro. Right now, the fans in that place are, it's a trap. You saw what happened to Real Madrid, it's not a mistake. You saw what happened to Bayern Munich, it's not a mistake. And when it came around to Arsenal's turn, I knew that Manchester City would be up for the task. I thought the atmosphere is absolutely electric. Haaland could have had 3, 4, 5 goals in that game. He ended up not scoring until the end of the game. But I think he still had what, 2 assists, or maybe it was just the 1 assist for the first goal. And I thought he was still really, really good in that particular game. Kevin De Bruyne loves a goal against Arsenal. Or yes, loves a fixture against Arsenal, whether he's scoring or assisting. You don't
love a
feel.
fixture against the big teams. Yeah,
Yeah, man, of course, of course.
yeah.
Best midfielder in the world. Um, Only person we can talk to him are really Rodri, and then they are different positions. So we could see how that go. Um, and I thought in that game at the Etihad, you guys were very timid, scared. Jesus, him looked like him just did a run up and down. Probably like after what, the 68th minute or so, him start for like try a little thing and try get himself involved. But at that point, him
Too
it was
late.
already too late. Yeah. Um, Overall, as a team, I didn't think you guys had any answers when you guys got the ball. The play just seemed to kind of always break down. And as much as you guys dominated the possession in the Emirates and kind of let you as well, I don't think we pressed as aggressively as we usually do in the Emirates game. But in the Etihad game, no, we were on smoke and wanted to plan that job. So I really think Pep set up that win very perfectly. And yeah, it was a good result to close out the season. And we know earlier in the season when you guys were ahead of us by like 8 points, we knew that both games at the Emirates and at the Etihad were two must-win games for us if we want to win the league. And then we'd
Yeah.
still hope that you guys drop points down the line because that's only 6 points. You guys could have still won the league and lost to us twice. But yeah, things just seem to have worked out for us, and I'm definitely very grateful for that. But just to move on again, I want to look at our current record against Arsenal before we touch into particular players for this fixture. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention in the Etihad game. Trossard again came on in that game as a substitute, and it was a really good cameo for him. I thought he was electric. I think he switched wings a couple of times. Like he initially
Yeah.
came on the left, and then he got his assist off the right hand side. So very dangerous player, and I'm expecting to see him start. If Arteta drop him again,
Hmm.
yo, remember me tell you, man.
I think that
Um,
was one of the biggest mistake in the title running. Um, I remember Saka not playing I think it was Fulham, no, Leeds, the first game in April, and we won 4-1, and Saka came off the bench, and Trossard was on farm from January
yeah,
till till April. And then the Liverpool game now, Jesus started and Saka and Martinelli. And I think that was the end of Arsenal. I think if Trossard was playing that running, it would have been closer. I don't know if that still win, but it would have been closer. And Trossard is basically our best attacker because he can assist. He's a better finisher than every one of the attack line. He can do
super true
everything
on
and he can
either
play
side.
anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Can play anywhere. You don't know what he's going to do. He's going to cut in or. I think
And
that's one of the biggest mistakes.
And just for talk about and before we move off at your side, wasn't he like the player of the month in the month of March? And then
Yeah?
don't play a
Yeah.
single, don't start a single game in the month of April. Like, what
No, only
sense
start
is that?
one game.
Yo,
It
man,
was
I
the first
understand
game.
Arteta sometimes,
Yeah, I'm
But
overthink.
in regards to Saka, I don't. So he was brilliant, brilliant throughout the majority of last season. I thought at the end of the season he started to tail off. People were saying he's tired and he's overplayed and he's exhausted. I understand, but I don't think he started this season that well either. I know he's had some good moments. I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but I'm trying to be respectful because Saka is a footballer that I rate. The man a baller. I'm not afraid to say that. You see me? And the level when I see him hit last season at him heights, that is
Yeah,
not what he's doing this season. Let's be real. He scored a really good goal against Nottingham Forest. And him come up with some good moments as well against Spurs. I think that was his next best game this season. But in between that, I don't think
yeah,
he's been at
struggling.
his scintillating best.
I
So,
think probably he's carrying an injury. But to be fair to him, I think he have 5 goals and 5 assists, but he's
yeah,
not the Saka we see from last season.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm
definitely not.
saying. So the
Yeah,
stats look good, but
yeah, the
when you
stats look
watch
good.
him,
Watch
I
him now.
I just feel like there's
He's
there's
struggling.
more when need for really do or more than he
Yeah,
would usually be doing. So I don't
yeah,
want to say because him stats good,
him
is
struggling.
just as good as last season. I don't believe that.
I think he's a injury. I don't know. Something affected. I think it's an injury.
But yeah, just to move on into our current record against Arsenal. I didn't get the chance to go back and fact check this before we started, but I do believe it's something like in the last 15 or 16 fixtures against Arsenal, it's been in the league, of course, it's been like 15 wins for Manchester City.
Yeah.
So, and that is home and away. I
Oh
tend
man,
to
away.
tell people that Manchester City have two home stadiums, the Etihad Stadium and the Emirates Stadium. You understand?
Definitely.
Um,
Now go fight that.
I believe your last draw against Manchester City came at the Emirates, but that was in 2016, bro.
Yeah.
It's the end of 2023. You see me? So that's not really looking good for the home side in this
Definitely need
particular
a win.
fixture. But
Definitely need a win.
my job is to give confidence to the Manchester City fans who will be watching this video. So somebody was telling me in my live chat earlier this week that they are worried for the fixture. But when you look at the stats and the previous results, including last season and the seasons before that, we've had not only some big wins but consistent wins. We had that match. I think it was 3 years ago now. It might have been in either 2020 or 2021 at the Emirates where you guys took the lead. I think it was Saka who scored that goal, and
Oh,
then we
last year
came back.
January, 2022, New Year's. Last year January.
Really?
Yeah, 2022. Yeah, that the season where they give a five when Xhaka get the red card in
Mhm.
September 2021. Now we lose 3 straight game and we did there relegation zone. I will come fifth. Well, we should have come fourth. That was the season we should have come fourth. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
2021,
I think it was. I
2022.
think it was.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was Miles
yeah,
who got a penalty in that game.
yeah,
Did Gabriel get a red card in that fixture as well?
yeah. In
Yeah,
Paul
yeah, yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
Paul Gabriel, in namesake. Yeah,
And then him try to kick up the penalty spot and collect another yellow card.
yeah.
Yes, man. And we converted that penalty, and then Rodri with a late winner in the game as well to come back and seal the win for us. I think that was a bit of a turning point that people were looking at Arsenal and saying, you know what, this team is getting a bit of a backbone now, and potentially in the next few seasons or next couple of years, we can be looking at a very very serious team right here. But yeah, so okay, 2022, all right. But yeah, looking at those stats, fixtures, results, and how the games have played out over the years, it gives me a lot of confidence coming into this fixture still. And I don't think that was probably the only time Arteta has come close to beating or convincingly beating Pep Guardiola with a really good performance.
And a fun
So
fact, Arteta wasn't the coach on the day. I think he was sick. He had COVID.
see it there. And aside from that, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do think that you guys played well in the FA Cup fixture that we won 1-0. So again, that's another good performance I would attribute to Arteta. But It was a cup game. I don't think
Yeah.
either of the managers went out to show their best in that fixture either. I think
Yeah, they never
because
want to
the
give
Emirates
too
game was
much.
coming up, exactly. Both of
Hmm.
them just kind of hold them cards close to them chest a little bit. And it became a really mental battle, tactical wise, as well as on the pitch as well. But move into this current fixture. And again, there are some very key matchups I'm looking at in regards to certain players.
Mm.
We're looking at a potential matchup of Jeremy Doku versus Gabriel Zinchenko. God, please, I need that. I need to see that. Please. I
I would
hope
bench
Zinchenko
Zinchenko.
start.
I would bench
Yo,
him.
and the thing is, Tomiyasu is playing really well. So there is
He's
a
our best
situation.
defender, you know. He's
There
our
is
best
a
tackler.
situation where Ben White starts on the right hand side and Tomiyasu plays left back. But I hope him go
Mm.
stubborn and want keep Kai Havertz
Mm.
in there. I hope him want put Zinchenko in there for help him, and we can get that matchup. To be honest with you, the form that Jeremy Doku is on right now, I don't care which fullback you put him up against. The only fullback I would be worried about Doku going up against right now, and I'm just being honest. If my sound arrogant, I'm sorry, that's not my intention, but just I try to be honest with what me I see. The only
Mm.
fullback that I'd be worried with Doku going up against as of right now is Kyle Walker and him in the team. So I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else really handle him per se. Against Wolves, he didn't particularly have the best game, but I would say they handled him because he had like two or three defenders on him at any particular time. Two defenders directly, and then the third defender would say be marking Alvarez, but he's like Alvarez is to the side and he's firmly watching Doku. So Alvarez moves, he moves, but he's still like fully focused on Doku because if he gets past either one of those defenders, he's going to be the next one to step in. So he was under heavy surveillance in that game. And I'm not sure how Arteta will be planning to approach this game, but you are playing at home, and the last home game that we played against you guys, he wanted dominance and control and something to basically give the home fans something to rile up about. I don't think he'll set up like Wolves as to where he'll let us have majority of the ball and us try to break you guys down, and then you come in for counter attack. We also saw against Manchester United earlier in the season, even though they aren't really the best litmus test. Um, he also wanted to take the game to them in that fixture as well. Against Spurs, again, another big fixture. He wanted to take the game to them as well. I don't think that against City he'll particularly want to change this up. I think he'll try to really prove his stripes against Pep and go for it. So I hope that Doku starts this game and it will be a really good opportunity for him to take advantage of that space.
Yeah.
So how you feel about Doku against your fullbacks?
Well, I know that he's going to start Zinchenko, so I'm worried. If it was Tamiyasu, I'd have been a little bit less worried because Tamiyasu is a good tackler, and if you beat him one and two times, we'll try to keep up. And that's what I want, effort. But Zinchenko is not a defender. He should play midfield. He's not a fullback, so that's going to be problems there.
I genuinely thought that you guys were bringing him in to be a midfielder. That was the rumors, anyways.
I
And I know
thought that
people
too.
people had their reserves or judgment on that, where they're like, "Oh, but he's playing majority of his time as a left back. How are you going to play him as a full back?" You look at other situations like with Timber. He's playing right back. He's playing CDM for Ajax. You bring him in. He's playing right back and left back for Arsenal. And I heard that when Manchester United were interested in him, it was predominantly to be a central defensive midfielder. So it's you see stuff like this happening in football sometimes. It wouldn't be the craziest thing for Arteta to bring him in predominantly to play midfield. But yeah, that's not exactly how it worked out. But another matchup I was looking at in terms of two farm players, at least on our side. I'm not sure if the farm is tailing off on your player here, but I do know that they've had a good start to the season so far. And this matchup is Julian Alvarez versus Declan Rice. Because Julian Alvarez is playing that central role slightly behind Erling Haaland. You could say as a 10, as a second striker, however you would like to look at it. But I do think that it will be Rice's duty to stop Julian Alvarez, who has had a magnificent start to the season so far.
Yeah, that would be a good matchup. Alvarez is basically City best player this season. I think so. He's really a good player. He can press, he can shoot the ball well, he can pass. He have everything. So I think it's going to be Rice's duty to try to stop him. So let's see how that works out. But Rice have to get help in the midfield. As I said,
Mm.
if Partey doesn't start, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, don't rule out the situation where Partey starts, but he starts at right back. Don't rule it
Yeah.
out.
Boy, if that's happening, that's going to be crazy.
But another
Uh,
thing that I don't think a lot of people would have noticed, probably because of not watching too much Manchester City games, but um, one thing that Julian Alvarez has surprised even City fans with is since the lack of Kevin De Bruyne in the team, he has been one of those players, along with Phil Foden, to step up in regards to set pieces. And so far, his set pieces have been absolutely amazing. Corners, they look really good and very direct. I really don't like, and a lot of City fans again share the sentiment. Short corners, we will just try to play it short and then we try to get it into the box from there. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work, and we just give the ball away, or we just kick the ball out of play, or it just gets headed out, or we even hit the first man from that position. Like, just put the corner in the box, bro. Just don't overcomplicate it, Pep. Just tell them to stop the foolishness and just put the ball in the box. We have
just put the
Haaland
ball in the
for like
box. Yeah.
6'5". Chances are I'm gonna jump and win it. So
I have a
just
defender them. All the defender them tall, so
yeah, and obviously would I love to have Rodri, but like I said, we'll get to that still soon. Um, but yeah, Alvarez, he scored a couple free kicks this season. I remember he had one against West Ham. It hit off the bar, and that was really the precursor to what was to come next. Because he's had, I think, two successful free kick goals since then,
yeah.
and it's absolutely amazing to see. Um, yeah, so we're looking at Haaland versus Saliba as a big matchup as well. Obviously, we did see this matchup in the game at the Emirates, I
Emirates,
believe.
yeah.
Saliba did start that game alongside um,
Gabriel.
Gabriel Magalhaes. And now you guys don't have that excuse anymore of him not being available in that Etihad match. He is here. He is fit. Did have a bit of a moment against Lens in that second goal. I'm not really sure what he was doing in a
Yeah,
particular
it was a
moment, but
marking.
Erling
Mm.
Haaland has also been, in my opinion, very frustrated in regards to his current start to the season as well. Um, well, now he started the season. Stats wise, he's looking really good. I think he has 10 goals and assists across all competitions. But in terms of his last few games, like his last 3 or 4 games, he struggled
Five
a bit
games.
putting the ball into the
Yeah.
back of the net.
5 games.
So
I know. Yeah.
yeah, he struggled. He's struggling a little bit with putting the ball into the back of the net. In the last game in particular, he looked very frustrated because there was a lot of runs he was making where the team wasn't really finding him. And other situations, it was really, really good defending from the opposing team. And then you have the other part of the pie chart where he has the chance and he gets onto the ball and then it just happens to just go wide, or he hits the post, or something just not clicking, and it can make it very frustrating for a striker of his quality in those type of situations. But um, overall, I do think he's still playing well, and obviously he will always be a threat to any opponent. But how are you
Mm.
looking at that Haaland versus Saliba matchup, and are you confident that Saliba will come out on top?
I'm confident because Alan is very frustrated. He's on a bad run of 5 games without a goal, but somehow when anybody playing Arsenal and have a bad run of they always find a goal. So I'm just hoping this time he doesn't. And he's going to be more frustrated because I think they will approach the game man to man. So and Saliba is a good defender. So he's going to get frustrated. yeah, I think what Haaland's gonna try to do is he's gonna try to go to Gabriel because you know Gabriel is the more mistake prone defender, and his head, you know, he comes from Brazil, so, you know, his
Mm.
head get hot easily. So he's gonna try and make him get yellow cards or try getting into his head. So I think he's going to try more attack Gabriel's side.
And don't forget either, he did score a goal at the Emirates last
Yeah,
season.
he did. Yeah, he
So
did.
if you following the charts here, it is a good possibility that he
Yeah, that he
can
might
get
score.
another
Yeah,
one back.
yeah,
And that's what I'm choosing to look at optimistically and saying that he can get something out of this. Hopefully, respark some form. Go ahead with Norway over the international break, score 2 goals, come back. We have Brighton at home in front of the home fans, get on the score sheet again. That's what I'm hoping for. But let's look over to Erdegaard versus who? That's really the main question. I would say Erdegaard
yeah.
versus Rodri. Obviously, he misses this game. Not sure what to expect in regards to who will step
Who
in,
starts in the midfield?
because
Yeah,
this is Rodri's last game of his suspension. He will be back for the next game in the Premier League. But in that first game that he was out for against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, we went with Calvin Phillips, Kovacic, and Foden. I want to say no, Foden didn't start the game.
was it
New
Nunes?
It
I
might
don't
have been
remember.
Nunez. It might have been Nunez. It might have been all of the new boys.
Yeah,
But and I still consider Phillips a new boy, considering him never really played much football last season. If you get what I say, but yeah, it's very hard. I don't do
yeah,
predicted lineups because
yeah,
Pep,
but
you
yeah,
can't really
yeah.
read
It's
the
Pep
mind and know
overthinker.
man.
Yeah, and you
It's
might see John Stones in the midfield.
We have a thing what we call Pep roulette, because it
Yeah,
kind of seems like him just put everybody name in a bag and just shake
back
it up and
and just
then
shake
just
it.
pick out random names and we see who starts. But um,
Probably John Stones or Rico Lewis.
the thing is, John Stones is coming back from injury, right? He's been out
Yeah,
for, I think his last game was in the Super Cup, and he's been out since then. We haven't seen him. I think this might even be his first Premier League game of the season.
yeah.
I'm
And he
not
was on the
sure. I don't remember if he
bench
played against
midweek.
Burnley. Right. But he
Yeah, he
hasn't
was on the
played any
bench.
minutes.
Yeah,
So
that's the
I'm
thing.
not sure if Pep throws him back into the starting lineup, and he has a bit of an injury record, injury history. So
Yeah,
we call him John Biscuit sometimes because it's kind of like his foot
John
just not
Pebbles.
like that anymore. But I don't want to say start Stones in this game because of that. I would feel more comfortable with Stones coming off the bench. But Phillips, I don't think he'll start. But
No, he's not gonna start.
at the same time, if Pep does start him, I'm not going to be too surprised. But I don't think he's who Pep goes with. I think Pep will go back to what he did against Wolves and give that double pivot, even though it didn't work because those players didn't have a good game and they both were arrested against RB Leipzig yesterday. I think he'll give them the chance to go back and rectify from that. Obviously, Phil Foden played in both games and he was also very poor in the Wolves game. He had a brilliant performance against RB Leipzig.
Yeah,
So I think that's why I'm
and
looking at that Wolves game as just a one-off.
yeah,
Players, everybody can have them best
it's
day.
going to be tricky because Bernard has to play.
Before you go into that, I think you'll go with Kovacic and Nunes. That's what I wanted to say. I think that will be the double
Uh-huh.
pivot again, and Foden to start in the midfield, Bernardo out on the wing. But we have players coming back now. We have more options in terms of what we can
Options.
do with the
Yeah,
lineup, and the bench is looking stronger as a result of it because we don't have to just play everybody because we have to feel the best team, and then we
mm,
can't change nothing after the bench. So we're in a little bit of a stronger position now in regards to players coming back in. But I wanted to ask you, Erdegaard versus a double pivot of Kovacic and Matheus Nunes. Mainly Erdegaard versus Kovacic, really. How are you feeling about that?
mm. As long as it doesn't get too physical, I think Odegaard will come out on top. But the thing is with Odegaard, when the teams are pressing him and when them get physical with him, too physical, he tends to hide in the big game. So I'm kind of a bit of worried, but since it's a home game, and I don't think City have any physical man in the midfield, so I think he'll maneuver his way around the midfield. So I'm a bit optimistic. I think he will do a job. He has to come up because his last couple of games haven't been great. He was last in the North London derby, and in the Man U game he was last too. So the last home games hasn't been too convincing. So I think this is a big statement where he wants to prove his point. So he has to come out as the captain.
Yeah, I hear you. And to be fair, I don't think in that I forgot to mention those two games in terms of games that I did watch from Arsenal this season. I did watch a game against Man United, and I did watch the North London Derby as well. But that that Manchester United game, I didn't think either team played well on the day. Obviously, you guys are the better moments and you were the better team on the day. So I was looking at it and saying, if not a draw, then I do think you guys will edge it for the win. But I was not impressed with what I saw from either team. And I was looking at that game very happy. I know some people, some City fans who were watching the game and they were like, the game was so terrible. Both teams were shit. But me, I was watching the game and I was so happy. I'm like, yo, this game is amazing because I'm looking at two teams who are not playing well, and I know we have to play the two of them very soon. So whether regardless of whether we're playing Arsenal after this or Man United after this, I was taking confidence from it. But the last matchup I wanted to look at really quickly is Gabby Jesus or Nketiah, depending on who starts up top. Um, I without Saka, what I'm expecting to see, and you can tell me if you think this is what will happen, is I'm
Yeah.
expecting Nketiah to start up top and Jesus to play on the right. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
was for that NLD when Martinelli was then unavailable,
Done.
he moved
Yeah.
Jesus to the left and started Nketiah. So it seems like in that forward line, Nketiah might be the one to step in. Or it might be a case of actually it might be a case of Trossard stepping in now that I think about it. Trossard could
I
play on that
think
right side. Or both of them might have to play realistically. So it might be Trossard, Nketiah, Jesus, you think?
I think it I think it's gonna show. You remember that Alvarez played the Community Shield at centre forward against you guys. I think he's gonna go back to a similar lineup like that. He's probably gonna put Jesus wide with Trossard and Alvarez up top. When Nketiah playing the big teams at home, he tends to last. So I don't think that's going to work out. He
Is
has
that
to
what
play
you
Alvarez.
think Arteta will do, or is that what you want Arteta to do?
Well, I want him, but I think he's gonna do it because it worked in the Community Shield. Alvarez never played that bad in the Community Shield at centre forward against you guys, so I think he's gonna go back to it. I think
Okay,
he's gonna go back to it, yeah.
fair,
But
fair,
I
fair.
think it's going to be very tricky without Martinelli and Saka. I just pray one of them is fit. Hmm.
Yeah. So you think it will be Jesus out wide and who to start as striker?
Havertz,
Havertz. So that makes the question Havertz versus Ruben Diaz. Then
yeah.
how are you feeling in regards to that particular matchup?
Hmm. As I said before, Havertz didn't look that bad. The only thing was beating him in the Community Shield that he wasn't finishing his chances. And he never looked that bad against Ruben Diaz. Is one of City best defenders and one of the best defenders in the world right now. So average movements can cause a little problem. So let's see what he can do. I'm not really saying I'm feeling very confident, but I'm feeling better if he plays at centre forward than the midfield. I'll
Mm.
feel much better. He's not a midfielder.
Yeah, so the further away from your goal
The,
he is, the
yeah,
better.
yeah, the better, the way better.
Okay. And if Jesus is playing on the right, that means he is. I think we'll go with Ake to
Okay,
start the game.
our guardian.
Yeah, I think those
Yeah,
are obviously the options we have on the left, but I
yeah.
do feel like Pep will side with Ake for this game, particularly because it is a tough away game, and obviously Ake is very very assured defensively. But I do have to mention that Ake had an abysmal game against Wolves
Wolves, yeah.
last
Was
weekend. So
poor.
that is something to think about. That might be why Vardy gets the nod. Vardy was actually really, really good in the Champions League game. So this is why I'm gonna like predict lineups from Pep because I genuinely can't tell you what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah,
it's
and
a
the back
solid
line can be a
reception
whole
behind our.
different back line.
And this could have be a really good game for Ake play, build up him confidence with a good performance. Whenever he played against Saka last season, him lock him down. I think
Yeah,
he
I'm
did
locking
that
down.
in the FA Cup and he did that at the it wasn't at the Etihad, was it? Yeah, I think it was at the Etihad.
Yeah, it
No,
was
no, no,
at
no,
the
no, no, no. Like I think what I'm remembering is in the FA Cup and against what do you call it? Against Salah for Liverpool. I think at Etihad what might have happened. I think he was injured around that time
yeah, it
because he
was
played
injured.
Bayern Munich, and then I think Ake was playing.
So it was at the
Kante was
Etihad.
playing on the left hand side at the
It was
Etihad.
a
I think that
yeah, it
might
was
have
a
been.
first Premier League game, yeah. The first one.
So yeah, there's a case there for starting Ake since he's done well against Arsenal before, but there's also a case for Guardiola. So I'm not going to go too much into that. But
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff from people, rival fans, neutrals, saying Manchester City is Rodri FC because against Newcastle we really struggled. Against Wolves we struggled even more. Well, to be fair, against Newcastle the first half was good, really good. Even like Newcastle had one shot in the game at the end of the first half and nothing else, and we dominated the chances. But in the second half, they took their moment and it became a much more balanced game, and we didn't really have
Game,
any
yeah.
answers to get back a goal after they scored. That's what I'm hearing. I only got to watch the first half, but since that Wolves game, I'm hearing Roger FC because the performance was significantly weaker. And we know that Rodri does a lot, not only defensively, but in terms of build up play. He gets
And he
crucial
creates.
goals as well. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's
and
a
he
really good
creates.
creator. I don't remember who at Nottingham Forest, I believe it was. He had a ball where he won the ball in the midfield and he crossed it over to the right hand side for Kyle
Yeah,
Walker to knock it back for Foden, who scored the opening goal. And I think he also assisted Haaland this season as well. So
yeah.
yeah, he's been doing really good things in that Manchester City midfield. And since he's not here, we're hearing Rodri FC. City is so much weaker without Rodri. But as soon as Saka came off in that Champions League
Mm-hmm.
fixture, things just went absolutely downhill from 1-0 up to 2-1 down and no reply against Lens. So I guess this is Rodri FC versus Saka FC.
Yeah,
So
it is.
without both players, who do you think will benefit more, or who do you think it will hurt less without their main man in this game?
You would are City list. Because City have the more, as I said, anybody can go in. As it is not difficult to play the Roger role, but you have the. I think it comes down to Pep trusting his players more, and as I said, Kovacic can play there. Rico Lewis, who have an excellent game yesterday,
Yeah,
he can play
yeah,
there. And if John Stone is near fit enough, I think he can throw him in there. So you have a lot of options. Arsenal now, Arteta doesn't trust Reece Nelson. I don't know why. If they gave him a new contract, why don't you trust him and start him?
mhm,
So you just give him money like a charity. And he's the only person who can play there, other from Jesus. And because Vera cannot play there, Vera's a midfielder. So, and Saka has been Arsenal only spark in the attack this season, other from Trossard. So,
makes sense.
and Martinelli out too, so that would have be, your two best attack wingers are out, so you're going to be in problem.
Yeah, but how much confidence do you take from the fact that Raji isn't there? Is it because you think that those players you mentioned, the Kovacic, the Rico Lewis, the John Stones, cover us enough to where you won't even really feel the benefits of Raji not playing too much?
Yeah, I think because Roger just do everything and You not even miss De Bruyne. De Bruyne is out. So I think it's based on the fact that true De Bruyne is out. And then Rodri is the next best man in the midfield. And I think that is close. So those two guys are out. So you're gonna feel very optimistic that they have a chance. Because Rodri this season has been out of this world. He's doing everything. So
Last 2 seasons as well.
yeah, I know, but this season he has really stepped up more through De Bruyne as well. So I think that's why the fans are saying, "Oh, they cannot do nothing without him," or so. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, very much
I
so.
don't
Very
think it's
much.
going to be. It's going to come down to mistake. Who make the more mistake?
And one thing I wanted to mention as well, obviously after the end of year Champions League fixture on Tuesday, news did come out in that post-match conference from Arteta that Saka's injury does not look good. That was the headline quote. It doesn't look good.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, there have been, I guess, more positive news in regards to that. They're saying, it was more of a precaution. He took him off the moment he felt something and they're working to get him back. So there is still that possibility that he features. Now, rival banter out of the way, and just honestly from me, I think it is a mistake to play him. And honestly, I say that for pretty much any footballer. When Kevin De Bruyne came off in the Champions League final, I personally wanted, especially since him never play any other preseason games and him never play the Community Shield, I was saying, for when a player is out with this type of injury and for so long, I would love to see them slowly get integrated back into the
yeah,
team. Give them 10 minutes at the end of a game, then you give them like 15, 20 minutes at the end of a
15,
next
20.
game,
Build them up,
30
yeah,
minutes, and then you probably start them, take them off after 60, and then maybe you can start them after. If make them get into them rhythm,
yeah.
and but Pep
That
decided that
happened to yeah. That happened
he's
to
good enough to
De Bruyne.
start against Burnley in the first
Burnley,
match,
yeah.
and him come off after what 20 minutes. And
20 minutes.
then when him start, I'm read the lineup. I'm like,
What he's
hold
doing
on,
in there?
why am I start? Like, wait. And then me I say, yo, I hope him not come off in and then, but what you think happen? Come off injured, out again until January, and I'm like, this could have easily been avoided.
Avoided, yeah.
So
Because he came on in the Community Shield. I think he got about 15 minutes. So that's why I was surprised the next week. Well, 6 days after. Yeah, he came on, man. He missed the penalty.
yeah, you're right.
He missed
You're
the
right. Yeah,
penalty.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Play
so
10 minutes.
seeing
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah. You're right. You're right.
so seeing that 5 days after, because the game was Sunday and then they play the Friday and open the Premier League season the Friday. So seeing that him rush back in the line, man, I say this guy was supposed to out for a little bit longer. I was surprised that
Mm-hmm.
every time he
Look
plays
like a month
Arsenal, he's
early.
somewhat fit. So I'm like, all right, him play 10 minutes. I know that him would be 100% for the Burnley game. Just ease him back in. They could have bench him, make him get 20 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
all right.
So, in regards to soccer now, as a football fan, not as a City fan right now, I don't want to see him come back into the game and then 20,
Him got
25
injured
minutes
again.
now, wheel him off again, and then know him go out until January, February. Yeah, good for the title race for we, but I don't like to see them type of thing there, bro. May I be honest with you? So, if it's that he is better than you guys expected, bring him off of the bench and try to change up something. At
Yeah, I
best.
would do that too. I would do that.
But him get injured 5 days before the fixture. I don't think him supposed to have start within that 5 days, bro. I think it's very risky, especially for somebody who plays so much football and doesn't get enough rest as it is already. No, you want to play
Uh,
him through injury. And you just said against Bournemouth, him come off after a heavy challenge and then you start him again in the Champions League.
And
A
that
lot
was
of
the
Arsenal
same.
fans never want him
And
there.
that was the same thing against Tottenham too. He came off at the end in Tottenham game limping. So and he missed the Brentford game. And he did the train all week and then start magically against Bournemouth. So
So
like
this
it's a cycle.
This
Yeah.
type of thing, I say, man. I think get the man some rest, do without him, try figure out something, change your game plan if that's what it need to be, and don't force him into the lineup just because you know, say, it might elevate your chances of winning the game by 10, 15, 20%. You get me, I say? So that's
Yeah.
just my opinion on things though. But one last point more I touch on. We already established that we think this is going to be a good game. For the neutral, I think it will be very exciting. I think a lot of people will be tuning into this fixture, particularly because last season these were the two leading teams in regards to the table and the title race. So I think it will be very exciting. And after the game, regardless of the result, and this is something that's been ongoing from last season as well, me not want to hear nothing about injuries and exclusions. Me no
Yeah.
want to hear it. Me no want to hear it from City fans and me no want to hear it from Arsenal fans. Because the reality is both teams have their fair share of injuries. And just one more thing, especially from last season, because I never really get to talk about this last season. You see, the moment the title race change and City take the lead and all of that, or Arsenal start to tail off and then City did a for them full stride, it was, oh, but Saliba injured and him injured for how long, and whenever they'd have Ben White and Tommy Yasu did out for a while, and then this man did injured too, and Partey injury prone and all them something there cool. But you know what? City did have our injuries as well. John Stones never played for a big part of the first half of the season. Ruben Diaz, after the World Cup, him come back injured. We'd have to wait until end of January before him start
Foden
play.
too.
Foden have him injuries and him go do a surgery mid-season as well. Calvin Phillips, who's supposed to be Rodri backup, injured for the whole time before the World Cup, and then him come back after the World Cup without
Overweight.
playing any football and overweight. So him again couldn't play any matches. Means that Rodri have to play through the whole of that. Got the World Cup, play through the World Cup, come back after the World Cup, played all of the minutes again without rest, and we just have to deal with it. And still did I hear through that times Arsenal are go win the league and Arsenal have this great team and all them something there. But then the excuses start to come out when situations change, even though again we had our share of injuries and we never had a complaint. Cause we believe in our team and we know our team good. So for me, just want people to keep the same energy. If you're gonna say your team this great and you're gonna win the league and all of that, then you can't say, oh, but this is why we're not going to win the league later. Because you know the whole of them thing here before the start of the season. You know,
Yeah,
say, what
part
if
of
Saka get
sports. Mm.
injured and then somebody have to come in for him more good enough. So you could have said that at the start of the season, though said at the end of the season after the fact. You get what I say?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. And for this particular fixture, I know say una go have few injuries. Partey just a come back. If him come in and him not play at him best, people are gonna want to talk about that. But at the end of the day, me no need to tell you about our injuries. Bernardo Silva played yesterday, but him literally just come back from
Come
injury
back
a
from
while
injury.
ago. John Stones just come back. Grealish come back a little bit earlier, but him just get back in him stride from his injury. Same thing with Kovacic, just getting back in his stride from injury as well. And yeah, both of us have injuries, and Rodri is also not playing, big exclusion from the game. I don't want to hear any of that as an excuse because we know or have a general idea of the teams who will be available to go up, and we can cast the results and tell who we feel might or might not win in this particular game beforehand. Anything you want to say in regards to that injury situation?
Injuries are part of the sport, so you have to just have your backups, have your depth, and just work with it. And I think that's where the coaches are going wrong. There's like, if a main player out, them don't know what to do without them. It's football, the ball is rolling, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to just cope. Life goes on, life continues. So you have to just find other tactics, other plans, and work with it.
All right. Well, come to the end of the stream. I do have one last question for you. And as the home team, I will have to ask you to go
Hmm.
first. What is your prediction for this game?
I'll say a 2-1 Arsenal winning.
2-1 Arsenal. All right.
Yeah.
I'll
Mm.
go 3-1 Manchester City. Just like the reverse fixture or the same fixture last season, I think we'll have a similar result line in this game. Any particular goal scorers?
Hmm. If Saka plays, I think he will be on the score sheet. I think Alvarez will score for City, And the other goal, I probably think Jesus or Trossard, one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, City goal scorers or goal scorer. I want to say Haaland because I have a good feeling Haaland will score in this game. But I have a rule on this channel where if you are going to predict a Haaland goal, because Haaland always a score, you have to also give another goal scorer because it's kind of lame. Everybody can expect Haaland to
yeah.
score because he's the
Alan
man,
score,
you
yeah.
know. So the Haaland, but I also think Alvarez is another high candidate to score. He's on great form. I don't expect that to stop him now. He got his rest in the Champions League as well, which wouldn't have been possible if we never get these players coming back from injury. But yeah, he got his rest, came on, got a goal and an assist, so his confidence is still super high, and I think he can come back and get on the score sheet against Arsenal. In regards to Arsenal goal scorers, nah lie, I don't see Jesus scoring, so I'm going to go with Trossard. I think Trossard will bag a goal and come out with another good performance again. And Trossard is a man for big games. When him did there at
Yeah,
Brighton, him play really good against us every single time. Against Liverpool before he went to
Liverpool,
Arsenal, hat trick at
Patrick.
Anfield. I don't know who was the last man to do that
Mhm.
before him. And
uh,
whenever him play against City for Arsenal again, still look really good. Very impressive that I've seen from him so far. So yeah, I think Trossard will probably get that last goal. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have for you guys today. If you make it to this far in the video, big up to you, big up yourself. Sorry, some never remember to tell you at the beginning of the video, but you guys need to like the video and subscribe as well to the channel. Also, crew is frequently ish um on the JA Dugout as well. So show them some love to the JA Dugout. Name will be in the title. So just click on the title. If you're, the name is also in the description, I believe. If you're going to the description, you'll find it. But for all of the lazy people who can't bother to go that far, the name will be in the title. So definitely click. No excuse to not go over there and give them a sub, like them videos, and support them channel. Tell them say a clinical Jamaican citizen senior, and you don't know. That's pretty much all we have. Hope to see you guys on next one. And until next time, my side.